All right. So, welcome everybody, beautiful people. Welcome. So, today we're working on self healing. The self healer is going to be a practice that we can use not just for physical ailments, but also if you feel like any anxiety, emotional discomfort, if you've got like, knots in your stomach from stress, headaches. So with this practice, I've actually helped myself with many of migraines. It's this one, and I will teach you another practice, which is going to be just on an energy level. So we'll do the hypno journey. I'm even wondering if we do the energy practice first and then the hypno journey, as these both of those tools I have really used to help me. And I used to get serious migraines. And I do work from, like psychosomatics as well. So, for example, because my migraines would start in my right shoulder and they'll shoot up my neck and then attack me. And so my whole right side, like I wouldn't be even able to open my eye. Like it was like this. So it was getting really bad when I would get that migraine. And sometimes even, drinking all those ibuprofens years ago when I used to, take meds for headaches would not help. Like it would just be, it would just kind of numb it, but the feeling was still there. And then I learned to do this energetic healing practice and the practice we'll do today. And they just, dissolved. And particularly because shoulders, for example, on, psychosomatic level, the shoulders are our responsibility. So I noticed that whenever I felt overwhelmed by too much to do, any financial responsibilities, packing too much in, feeling so responsible for other people, it would shoot. Like the pain would start and it would just shoot right up. And I could even pick where it came from. I could even trace it back to years ago when it started and the root of it. And it was tied into financial worries at the time. And it all, the body kind of will often lock in a response, and then it will continue to reproduce the same response. And a lot of the times it is because it thinks that it's saving you, right? We're not, like, nothing the body does, nothing the subconscious mind, even when we think, oh, it's sabotage, it's all to protect us. It's nothing against us. We're very intelligent beings, and even our survival mechanisms are there to protect us. So it's not evil, it's not bad. That's why I don't like to say, it's the bad voice. I like to acknowledge it, that it's the voice that thinks it's protecting you because that's its biological response. So when we go into a hypno practice or even a meditation and just remind them that, thank you so much, but it's actually not serving me. And I'm going to put a new program now and tell you how to do it from now on so that it serves you. So for me, with my shoulders, responsibility, and you can always tell with a headache, for example, if it's the front, you're worried about the future. This is the present. The back is usually the past. Left and right. Now, in Chinese medicine, following acupuncture, they say the left side is masculine, the right side is feminine. I know it to be the opposite. Left side is feminine, right side is masculine. I don't think it matters. Is if you believe, and connect to one side and endow it with the feminine and the masculine, I think that could work also. But I knew that, this is responsibilities. The headache would usually, be at the front. So that's worries of the future. And because it's my right side, it's usually, I figured, oh, it's related to the doingness, the masculinity, the getting things done, financing, action. And so, that's how I was able to figure out what the root was from. And then breathing into that, and I'll show you in a moment, doing that practice where you basically extract, it's called extracting energetic blocks from your field, because on an energetic level it's believed that we have our, auric field, our energetic field, and at first any disturbances start here, and so you start to block it up first here, and then it slowly travels into the body, and then it becomes a physical discomfort and dis-ease. So by removing it from the field, we're actually extracting it from the body too. So for me, it was, doing the practice of extracting and also chanting the mantra to myself, not my responsibility, not my responsibility, not my responsibility, not my responsibility, and just chanting it over and over again. And it really just, my shoulders just completely relaxed. So, if with the body, as you've got the head, it's usually decision making and thinking, like I said, future, present, past. When it comes down to throat pain, that's usually not blocking yourself, you know, being too afraid to speak your mind, not being sure, being anxious whether your voice matters or not. If you're in a meeting and you're like, oh, I don't know if I should speak, your throat tightens up. The neck in general is going into directions. So when you don't know is this the right direction for me? Is this the right path for me? You'll probably find neck pain. Right, especially here, the base of the neck, the shoulders, as I mentioned, are responsibility. So anytime you feel you're overwhelmed, you're carrying too much, you'll feel it in your shoulders. The arms are not being able to let go, or holding on to things. They're also an extension of the heart. So, if there's any grief, any pain, any aches, particularly about letting things go, maybe letting go of a loved one that's passed, maybe letting go of an old relationship, we will probably feel it in our chest and the arms. And again, left being feminine, right being masculine, it will kind of tell you, oh, is this about a close feminine mom, sister, best friend, spouse? Same thing on the other side. And and the hands in particular, about clutching onto things. That's why whenever I lead you, whoever has worked with me, when I lead you through the progressive, I always make sure you relax those bits, and especially the fingers, and the hands, because that's what we grip onto when we want something, and we're like, I'm going to control the outcome, and it hurts. And especially if you've got right arm aches, that is like more about work and finance and your drive, and really trying to control that financial life, and you'll feel like cramps all the way from probably from shoulder. And then as you go down, of course, the chest, which is love, grief. We carry a lot of grief here, even upper back, it's all to do with grief. Then we go down to belly and solar plexus, and that is our power, and that is our confidence. So if we feel like we've got low self-esteem, we don't like ourselves, we're hating on ourselves, on our body, we're criticizing ourselves, we'll feel it in our gut, in our stomach, or that digestive system, even down to the intestines, your belly. This is where you hold all your power. And so when you don't like yourself, you're basically giving it away, to people's projections, and a lot of disturbances, a lot of trauma as well. People hold on to a lot of trauma in their bellies, a lot of IBS, SIBO. All those gut diseases come from, a lot of anxiety and trauma being held. You'll notice, if you've got diarrhea, then that would mean you're trying to run away, because that is also a completely biological response. The body will want to let go of everything to flight. And if you've got constipation, it's usually you're hiding, right? That was a way of like, oh, I can't poop here. First of all, I'm not going to mark my territory just in case, a wild animal can smell me and come after me. And also, it's not a good time. I can't relax, right? So that is like a very old, primitive biological response. And now we still hold on to it. Again, it's to protect us, which now is absolutely useless because danger is not going to smell you anymore. Danger manifests in different ways nowadays. But yeah, if you've got trauma from maybe an abuser, a perpetrator, then you'll find that people will develop one or the other. A lot of acid reflux happens, with belly disorders as well. Wanting to kind of I've noticed that acid reflux happens a lot with people that cannot speak their truth. So they've got time they just want to like vomit it all out. They're so anxious, they just want to let it go. And that's the only way they can release, by either developing bulimia or having acid reflux. And then I also recommend a really good book, by the way, that talks about all symptoms and syndromes on a psychosomatic level. It's called Metaphysical Anatomy. I might have said it before. Metaphysical Anatomy by Evelyn. I can't remember. But if you just type Metaphysical Anatomy, there's only one book out there. And then, you've got mid back, which is also connected to the gut. Then you've got down lower back, which is mostly finances and belonging. So a lot of lower back pain happens if you have moved houses, if you feel unsafe and secure, if you feel like you don't have a place you belong, you don't feel rooted enough. And then the front, usually the pelvis, is you feel it's for women particularly, it's connected to a feminine, it's connected to our expression, to our creative flow, whether we allow ourselves to have that creative flow to express, to create. But generally that is the creation, because it's where life begins. Even for men, it's where life begins, where a new child is formed, a human being is formed. So it is your point of creation. And then we go legs. And legs are usually when you feel you've got to run after something, or you feel you're running away from something, and you're not allowed to walk at your own pace. You're kind of following somebody else's pace. So that's when knees in particular are not being able to be flexible, and also fear of old age. So if there's something tied in with, getting old, you might notice knees aching, and yeah, not being flexible. If you feel like you're being very stubborn, again, it's all the knees. And then we go down into ankles. I think ankles are very important because this is known to be our pleasure center. So our ankles are pleasure centers. So when we don't allow ourselves to receive and to get help, and particularly not to receive pleasure and not to indulge in resting and just relaxing and enjoying the little things, then the ankles start to ache and they weaken, right? So I like to often imagine that if we've got shackles around them, we imagine that we just cut and break them and let them go. And then the feet, particularly the heels, are all about being grounded. So if you feel a lot of aching in your heels, it means that you're trying to root yourself. You're trying to kind of create a home. And heels is quite often when heels, I notice, often happens when somebody has moved into a new job, a completely new place, or they're moving too much. Too many changes are happening. Their base is being moved many times. Quite often, they tend to have pains in their heels. They want to have a home. They want to root somewhere, and they don't feel comfortable and safe. So heels ache a lot. So that is just a basic, there's so much, it gets a lot deeper, particularly if you pick up the metaphysical book. Oh, you're welcome, Tibby. You're welcome.